It's a special dedication to Vital Sounds Hifi.
Yeah, blessing up the youth them called Vital Hifi. Man like Manray. Straight on a place like New Zealand. This is the youth called Kenny Knox, original Kenny Knox. Yeah, what's that?
My brother came back from university with a bunch of records, and in them was Bob Marley. This was back in the when I was a kid, and back in the 70s, and I think it was Rastaman Vibration. And I was listening like any white kid in New Zealand. I was listening to rock music and blues and stuff like that. But when I heard Bob Marley, I was just blown away. The rhythms were turned upside down. I didn't understand them. It was just the percussiveness of them, and it just, I don't know what it was, but since then I've never, turned back really for reggae. My name's Manray. Some call me Marty Vital because I own the Vital Sounds Hifi. I'm a DJ, sound operator and record collector. I've been doing this for a long time, and music's my life, it's in my blood, and without it I couldn't exist. Learning my craft, I guess like everyone, you start indoors and you start going to gigs and watching people, and you get excited about what they're doing and you kind of want to do it yourself. I provided some photos through the work I'd done in Jamaica with the Roots Foundation, and they knew I had an interest in it, and they asked me along to play at one of their gigs, and that's basically how I started. I was doing support for them and doing their warm-up nights, and then just sort of seeing everything they did and learning from it, really. And once they sort of finished doing gigs, I started Vital Sounds with Top Knot and Russ Stone. And it was just a night to take the Jamaican component of what the Roots Foundation was doing and turn it purely into a reggae night. I went along the road of most sound operators where you start with 2 turntables and a mixer, and then you buy a sampler, and then you buy an echo, a space echo, and then you buy a bit more gear, and you end up with 3 boxes, 4 boxes of kit and gear and cables, until you end up with a truckload and renting a lockup and building your own boxes and stuff like that. The sound system's based around the folded horn, the bass system of it's the sort of heart of it, really, and they're Super Scoopers. It's a British design 18-inch folded horn, and the sound system's there, so it's 4 18s, 4 15s for the mids, and a couple of horns on the top for the tops. I've probably run around, there's bits and pieces everywhere, but I've probably maybe 4,000. It's not a big collection, but it's a good collection. It's no fat in it. You can't operate a sound system without a crew, and it's respect to the people who help me out and stuff. You need that family of people helping you, and you need the family of people what perform with you. So people like Danny Lemon, who's the great supporter of roots music, especially the early roots music and stuff, and having him on board and learning from him and sharing tunes and collecting together, and then having the mic people like Mighty Asterix, Russ Stone, without those guys putting their special unique flavour on the sound system night, you wouldn't, it would be completely different. And then other selectors, obviously Top Knot being the main guy who's one of the most passionate people I know about reggae music and stuff like that, and being involved with that, it's just, you just get that groundswell of sort of momentum to run a sound system, and you can't do it alone. You need to do it with, you need to have these people on board. One of the great things I've heard is that spirituality, what comes through the message of the music and through the rhythm. And there's some people who used to come to every gig, and to them, I remember them saying to me once, and it's always stuck with me, that it was their church, it was their way of going to church and getting rid of that sort of that weight of society and everyday life. And that's how I feel about it. There's something in me what needs to feel this music, and it needs to sort of express myself through sharing music and playing music like that. Yeah. Well, the good thing within the New Zealand culture now, dance culture and sound system culture, is that we do have an understanding, I think, and hopefully Vital Sounds has been part of that to raise awareness of sound system culture in New Zealand. And now we're seeing other guys building boxes, and there's 3 or 4 around the country, and there's some beautiful sound systems working around the country now with really top quality gear and an understanding. So I think I'm quite proud of that, if anything, of raising awareness. I don't necessarily think my sound system was the best sound system, but it was probably the first to be made, and I think it just showed that people can do it, and there's always going to be people who are going to do it better than me, which is now coming through. I think there's a new generation who has a lot of energy to do the job well.
Yo, this is Don Pen from Now and Then, alongside the Vital Sounds Hifi. I want larger Manray. The sound is huge. The Vital Sounds Hifi now. This one is exclusive. Now here it is. Vital Sounds Hifi is a champion sound for me. It's the only sign that